Ladies and gentlemen, my name is
Scott.
Hey, yo. Is that his younger brother? It's gonna be
Jeff.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And you're listening to
all of the great action figures from our good friends at Hasbro.
The Fullyposeable.
Have your own WrestleMania with all your favorite figures.
Wrestling figure.
Each sold separately from LJN.
Podcast.
And we are the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling.
Hey, welcome to episode 436 of the Fullyposeable Wrestling Figure Podcast, longest running episodic wrestling figure podcast going today. My name is Jeff, and sitting alongside next to me is my real life brother, not storyline brother, Scott. Scott, say hello.
Hello.
Scott, before we get into how you're doing, man, we got Michael Kanik from the Major Pod on this episode, continuing with the Summer of Saying Dude Love. Michael Kanik's going to be on. He's going to drop a lot of hints regarding future lines of the big rubber guys and some other things. Anyways, we'll get into that later, but you want to stick around for what he has to say.
It's always a fun conversation with Kanick, but we'll get into that too. How do you pronounce his name?
All right.
Stay tuned and you'll find out.
Scott, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, dude. I'm going to see The Crow tomorrow night. We're recording early this week. It's on a Wednesday night. Normally we record Thursday nights. A night early this week because I've got tickets to go see The Crow tomorrow night on the big screen. It's the anniversary. What is this? The 30th anniversary. It came out in 94. So yeah, quick math, 30 years, 30th anniversary of The Crow. Dude, I am so excited. I know I kind of touched on this a week or two ago, and I am over the moon that I get to go see The Crow on the big screen again. It's not a midnight release like the first time I saw it in the theater, but dude, just being able to go see it again, I just can't wait.
So wait, is this the Crow from 94 or is this the new Crow?
No. The new Crow comes out sometime in June, I think. June or July.
Okay.
No, this is the original, the 1994. It's not remastered, redubbed. It's literally, here's the copy from 94. Enjoy.
Okay. I'm looking at the soundtrack from Crow.
Oh, dude.
Okay, Pantera was on it. That's right. I remember Pantera
yes.
being on. That was one of the best soundtracks ever, right?
Ever. I still listen to it to this day.
Oh, do you?
I've listened to it. Oh, yeah. I'm sure by the end of the year, Spotify does that yearly wrap up. The Crow soundtrack will be on there for sure.
Okay, Nine Inch Nails, Stone Temple Pilots. I remember that.
Yep.
Rage Against the Machine. I remember that one. That was a good one.
But there's these off the wall bands that you're not going to really recognize their name. But if you heard the song and you've seen the movie, you'll remember exactly in the movie where that song drops. It's such a good soundtrack, dude. So good.
That was one of your favorite soundtracks of all time, right?
To go in lockstep with my favorite movie of all time.
Okay. I thought Last Action Hero, wasn't that one of your favorite soundtracks?
It is. It's one of my favorites, yes. Purple Rain would be another.
Purple Rain was fantastic.
Yep, that was my first Prince album.
Okay, yeah, because Alice in Chains was on Last Action Hero. Angry Again from Megadeth, yes.
Megadeth, yep.
Def Leppard. Anthrax was on there. Aerosmith, Alice in Chains, Cypress Hill, Fishbone, yep. Tesla. Tesla's now a car in 2024.
Yeah, when people say Tesla nowadays, I still think band.
Of course you do.
Not car.
Of course you do. 80s hair metal. Yeah, that was a good
this
band.
80s hair kid.
No, I bought a Tesla.
Yeah.
Oh.
What are they playing the state fair? What's going on with Tesla?
That's what Nelson does.
Exactly. No, great soundtrack, dude. The Crow, one of the best ever, if not the best. Personal opinion. Last Action Hero. A lot of people trashed the movie. I kind of enjoyed it. And I loved the soundtrack. Beavis and Butthead. Do America. Yes. That would be another solid soundtrack. Funny how these are all from the 90s, aside from Prince from the 80s, but that's just my era, dude. That's my jams.
It seems like soundtracks are now a thing of the past. Because remember, like
really?
soundtracks to movies was such a big thing. And
yep.
My mind was blown with how good The Crow was and how good Last Action Hero was. And nowadays, it just doesn't feel like there's good soundtracks. I think Guardians of the Galaxy was probably the last one that I can probably say off the top of my head was a good soundtrack, but it was a lot. It wasn't nothing new. It was all like old original songs.
Well, and I would say Peacemaker as well, but now we're going down a James Gunn rabbit hole where the dude is just a student of music.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly what songs to plug in to make his movie more enjoyable. Love that he does that. And the Peacemaker soundtrack on Spotify, outstanding.
A lot of 80s hair metal in there.
It is. And on John Cena, there's a scene in Peacemaker where John Cena's playing Home Sweet Home on the piano.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's somebody and he's just moving his fingers. No, John Cena is playing Home Sweet Home on the piano. And it's on, if you go on to Spotify, look up Peacemaker soundtrack, that is John Cena playing the piano, playing Home Sweet Home.
So John Cena played the original piano version of Motley Crue's Home Sweet Home? How old was he?
Yes, Jeff. It's just in the video you can't see him. But that's really him playing the piano in the original 1985 Home Sweet Home video, Jeff.
Did we see anybody actually playing the piano, or was it just hands like Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget?
It was just moving keys.
Like Haunted Mansion stuff.
Yeah, like Haunted Mansion, exactly. It was just moving keys. You're like, oh, that's Cena.
Oh man, all right. We're having way too much fun on this episode. It's only going to be more fun when we get Michael Kanik on.
Absolutely.
But if you want to get any of our shirts, head on over to Pro Wrestling Tees or whatamaneuver.net. You can follow us on the Twitter, X, YouTube, Snapchat, and the book faces at Fullyposeable, Instagram, Fullyposeable, WFP. You can go back and listen to our past podcasts on Podbean, Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. And you can send us any audio questions, or anything else at all. Send it on over to Fullyposeable, WFP at gmail.com. Scott, you were talking about before we started recording, you're loving those Fix Bear stickums.
I am. I won't use that museum putty or gel, whatever you call it, ever again. Never, never, never. So I got those Fix Bears, as we talked about last week, and I redid my 2 Detolf shelves that have my Batman figures on them. One riser has the Batman family. The other riser, the shelf underneath, has all the villains. So last night, I'm removing figures. I'm redoing the risers. And I had previously used that museum gel or putty underneath the feet of the figures. Actually, what I did is I put the stands that come with them, because these are the McFarlanes. I used the stands that come with the McFarlanes to put them on the shelf or on the riser. And then I put the museum putty under the stand to affix it to the riser. Well, last night, as I'm plucking off the stands to redo the figures, because now I'm going to put the Fix Bears on the feet of the figures, save some space. What had happened to the museum gel is it almost liquefied and then kind of turned into a gel again. But when you went to flake it off, it came off in these little tiny pieces, almost like a gel dust, if you will. And it was a huge mess. It got on the Detolf shelf itself. It got all over the risers. It was definitely on the bottom of the bases. It got on some of the figures' feet. Gross, dude. Never. I am a big fan of these Fix Bears.
Dude, careful, because that's like Terminator 2. I saw Terminator 2. I saw what happened when that cop turned into like a liquefied stuff, dude. Dude, careful.
I know. What I'm worried about is all the gel that I removed. It's all in the garbage can now, and I'm worried when I come in here tomorrow, it's going to be standing there as like a mega gel person thing, going like a Bailey buddy, just kind of waving around.
You're going to be sitting there, you're like, hey, dude, do you want to play the show 24? I got to open up some packs. Yeah. I got to play the show. I got to get my packs.
Yeah. Hey, gel thing. Can you open up some figures for me?
Hey, gel thing from 1989. Do you want to play some Nintendo? Want to play Excite Bike? Want to play RC Pro-Am? We can play some Pro-Am.
I don't have a Nintendo in here. Come on now.
What's wrong with you? Why don't you have a Nintendo in there?
Well, I do have a Raspberry Pi. I could download Nintendo games, I guess.
Do you refrigerate it?
Okay. See, the Raspberry Pi is this little device that you can build, and you can put an SD card into the Raspberry Pi. And so you get ROMs on the SD card, and then you can basically turn your Raspberry Pi into a gaming system that is basically any console, any game.
So I thought you had turned into me from younger Jeff and shoving Raspberry Pis under your couch or something.
Hiding Raspberry Pis in my office.
Like I used to hide hot dogs under my bed. I thought you were hiding Raspberry Pis under the couch, hiding them from everybody. I'm damned if anybody eats my Raspberry Pi.
Stay away from my pie.
God damn it.
God damn it. Stay away from my pie.
Oh man. Scott, have you picked up anything recently?
So no, I have not bought anything over the last week, and there's a very good reason for that. One of them we'll be talking to later on in the show, Kanick with his big rubber guys. Going to be pre-ordering the Road Warriors this weekend, of course. And same day, I'm pulling the trigger on that Heenan retro figure. Red jacket, not the black one.
So Kanick's big guy is going to be in a rubber. Got it. Cast and molded and sculpted and tooled.
Or you could just buy pictures.
On his OF. That'd be hella funny.
Yeah. Kanick's OF.
Oh
man. Support the big guy.
No, but I also picked up the Heenan. I did get Boris Zukov. I had to.
Oh, you bought him too?
Dude, I had to. I loved it.
Well, it's kind of surprising because there's no Nikolai.
There is a Nikolai.
Retro?
Yes, there is. Remember?
Oh, not a Hasbro, but somebody else made a Nikolai.
No, remember the set? I think it was Hart Foundation, Jimmy Hart, and Nikolai.
Right. Not an original Hasbro Nikolai to put Zukov with, but Zukov's going to go with the retro Mattel.
There you
Nikolai.
Go. Yep,
got it. Okay. But, I smell what you're cooking.
But what's cool about that is that he comes with the Russian flag too. That's hella cool, dude.
It's a good looking figure. It all comes down to budget for me though, dude. Like retros is not where my money's going. But when it comes to Heenan, there are names. As we've always talked about on the show, there's names that sometimes budget be damned, right? And this weekend is going to be a prime example of this. You know, I haven't been in on the big rubber guys. And again, not because I don't want to, just because budget makes it that way. But when you put out Road Warriors, or in the case of Epic, you put out a Bobby Heenan, well, now you're getting Scott Toon's money. So congratulations on that.
I am also in on the Road Warriors. So by the time the show drops, those will be pre-ordered over here as well.
So pretty. Removable shoulder pads. You guys, if you grew up like I did, you guys.
So this is Tony Khan. You guys
got a huge announcement. We're going to be next week. I'll have a huge announcement
that we're going to be playing in the county fair with Tesla.
AEW and Tesla.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get heat, dude. We're gonna get heat. We gotta switch. Topics.
You thought WCW with Kiss was big, or WWE with Motley Crue was big. Wait till you get AEW and Tesla. You just wait.
By the way, did you see the sale at Target this past weekend for the Memorial Day?
I saw that the Elite Legends were like $13 or something. $14.
Yokozuna. Some people took a picture and they said that was down to like $19 or $21 or something.
What the?
I was like, holy. Of course, the Targets that I went to this past weekend didn't have any Yokozunas.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Big Bubba, though. That's a big concern of mine. I'm still checking Target at least 3 times a week just to see if magically that pre-order button lights up.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it has not. And I'm have to go by street date now. Like, I've got to get my hands on at least one Big Bubba. At least one. Preferably 2 so I can put a UWF title on Terry Gordy. But man, I'm starting to sweat that Big Bubba a little bit because I didn't get a pre-order in on it.
And I know this doesn't have anything to do with wrestling figures, but McFarlane announced today that he's going to be coming out with Batman. Was it Batman Returns or Batman Begins or Batman Forever?
As most casual fans would know it as the Jim Carrey Batman movie.
Yeah. So he's going to be making some of those figures, huh?
They're so good. There's a Build-A-Figure wave, and that one's going to be the Batman Forever characters, Riddler, who was played by Jim Carrey, Two-Face, who was played by Tommy Lee Jones, then Robin, and Batman. This would be Val Kilmer Batman, and the Build-A-Figure is Man-Bat.
Who is Man-Bat?
It's exactly what his name says. He is a man who is also a bat.
Man Bear Pig's cooler.
I'm still waiting on that Build-A-Figure.
I want that figure, dude. Oh, hell, I want a Man Bear Pig, dude.
When McFarlane does South Park, watch. The 4 kids will come with a Build-A-Figure and it'll be Man Bear Pig.
Well, Jax is making Simpsons, so I'm hoping that they make South Park would make a Man Bear Pig.
That would be awesome. But the kicker is he's going to be making the Batmobile from Batman Forever as well.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to get that as well. And the Tumbler's coming out in a couple of days, which is the vehicle from the Nolan trilogy where Christian Bale was Batman. So I got to get the Tumbler. That's in a couple days. That's actually Friday. Road Warriors are Saturday. I'm going to pre-order Bobby Heenan on the same day. And then June 7th is when those Batman Forever figures drop, Jeff. So there's a reason I haven't ordered anything over the last couple weeks. I'm kind of like keeping my bullets in my gun, and then they're going to get emptied all at once.
Your wallet's hella gasping right now.
Oh, dude, it's trembling in fear. I'm about to beat it like it owes me money, because it does.
By the way, I messaged your Drunk Wrestling History co-host Ed.
Yeah, why the hell did you do that?
So I was listening to this past week's show, and you guys were talking about the heels, like most dastardly heels or something like that.
Yeah, worst heels.
And it's funny too, because I didn't have his number, but one day he dialed me, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? Like, it said Edward Martin. I was like, what the? So I picked up the phone, and I was like, hello. And he started like, he's like yelling in the background. He's like, no, it doesn't go there.
Oh, he butt dialed you.
So anyways, I texted him, and I started thinking about heels that are very dastardly in wrestling history.
Right.
I want to talk about Big Boss Man's last run in 98, 99.
Okay.
Dude, he was a menace. He made Al Snow eat a dog.
That's true. He did.
He ruined Big Show's father's funeral.
He did. Yeah, he drove off at the casket, right? With Big Show clinging to the casket.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was pretty shitty. Yeah.
Holy crap, dude. Just those two things like puts him like in a whole different psycho tier, I guess. I mean, that was just like so. He made somebody eat a dog. That's like Cartman making Scott Pellerman or whatever his name is, eat his parents. Yeah. It's like, holy crap, dude.
Oh, dude, that's great. Yeah, no, you're right. Like, upon further consideration, like, he needs to be at least an honorable mention.
Yeah, because I definitely an honorable mention. The other one I thought of was Raven in ECW, how he turned Sandman's family against him.
Yeah.
The whole feud with Dreamer, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, and then the thing with Terry Funk, I mean, it was just, Raven was another dastardly heel.
Yeah, Flock in WCW that ran roughshod. So yeah, I could see that too. When did you message him? Because we recorded on Memorial Day.
Friday.
And he didn't mention it. That's weird, because normally like he'll have stuff where he'll be like, oh, so-and-so touched base, and you know, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask him about that. I'll be like, dude, why didn't you mention Jeff's stuff?
No, I don't care if he does or not. It's just, I thought that was pretty interesting, because I was listening to all your guys' heels over the time. You know, you mentioned Heenan. You know, those two guys alone just should be honorable mentions on a lot of people's lists.
Yeah, an Earthquake squished a snake. Jake made a snake bite Randy. So
yeah. Very good point. Very good point.
Yeah. So, Randy Orton was quite a menace too in his big time heel days.
Good point. Very good point. Anyways, I wanted to talk about that real quick, but we do have to get the news, because we got to get to Michael Kanik here shortly. So Scott, let's start off with the news with FOCO. They have a magazine collection bobblehead series, and it's Shawn Michaels. Now, if you guys remember the WWE magazine where he was sitting on like a picture of himself, I think it was.
Oh, this isn't the Playgirl Shawn Michaels. This is WWE magazine Shawn Michaels.
FOCO went in a whole different route that us wrestling collectors didn't want. No, I'm just joking.
Dude, how funny it would be if it was a bobble belt.
A bobble.
It's covered and there's little Shawn, and it's covered and there's little Shawn.
Oh man. But there was a WWE magazine where Shawn was sitting, I think, on a portrait of himself or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
that sounds right for heel Shawn.
Yeah, it was heel Shawn. So anyways, they made that. It's limited to 100 and it's $95. So it is a Shawn Michaels FOCO bobblehead.
We haven't mentioned them as much lately. I think they kind of pumped the brakes a little bit, huh?
I think they have. I know that they're doing well on certain names. Hogan is one. Hogan always does well for him. Brett's another. Right. Those guys always do well on their bobbleheads, but I think they kind of slow down on other names.
They really did. Yeah. Because we were literally talking about them every single week, because we would continually get feeds on our Facebook like, hey, here's new FOCO is every week. But yeah, they seem to have pumped the brakes a little bit. Maybe a smart strategy, slow it down a little bit and release like just your heavy hitters.
Right. Again, that's limited to 100. So if you guys want it, get on it quick. $95 Shawn Michaels magazine collection. Hassle Toy. He has a regime. I don't know how to spell that.
Regime?
Regium. Anyways, it's Gangrel. He has wide-eyed tongue out, and he does come with the cup.
This is a 6-inch scale, Jeff?
I think so. It looked that way.
It looks to be a 6-inch scale. Does not look retros at all.
No. It's definitely not retro. I think it is the 6-inch scale.
It looks 6-inch scale. It looks really good too.
It's the Regium series.
Regium. Got it.
Regium. Yep. All right. Moving over to Epic Toys. Big news from Epic Toys. They are going Galoob style. They call them lubes.
Lubes.
Yep. LOOBS. So they're getting lubed up over there.
Not LUBES.
No.
LOOBS, like galoobs.
Yep, it's called lubes. They are going Galoob style. So in the span of a month, we have now gotten 2 Galoob style companies joining the wrestling collector community.
You know, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
If it's all good product, hey, welcome to the show.
Sticking with Epic Toys as well, they announced the signing of Vader.
That's big.
That is huge. So since they're going Galoob style, this is kind of what I mentioned last week. These third-party companies that are now in Galoobs are starting to give us that 92, 93 era,
Yes.
kind of going into San Francisco toy makers kind of realm.
Yeah, when they start to border on like 95. Absolutely.
But they're reimagining what if Galoobs continued on.
And I love that. I mean, we all wish that they would have gone on for at least another few years, maybe 4 or 5 more series. And yeah, this is totally turning into a, hey, what if we had this back then?
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to find out.
Yep.
You know, we're getting Orndorff, we're getting Vader. I love it.
And PN News for Top Rope Collectibles too.
Who was actually supposed to be in the line. So yeah, outstanding. I absolutely love it.
Yep. I'm interested to see what other names they come up with.
I wonder what pose they put Vader in too. Do you go OSFTM?
No.
I didn't hate that Vader pose.
What if they had where his arms are out and he has the 5 chin going on?
Like a Ted Arcidi pose.
Yeah, the Ted Arcidi pose. I mean, because nobody's playing with these, right?
I think it makes sense if you're going to have, like you said, Jeff, you're displaying these. You're not playing with these, right?
Right.
Galoobs weren't. You could play with your Galoobs, but they were very, as you said, kind of statuesque. Like they were more displays. So yeah, it makes sense that if you're going to do Vader, then put him in that pose where he kind of stick his arms out, puff up his chest, and.
But the thing is that nobody's playing with these lubes and Galoobs. Nobody's going to be playing with these. These are going to just be display pieces.
Correct. These will be displays.
So you can put Vader in an interesting pose or maybe a different pose, but it's Vader. You know, you could have the Vulcan hand.
The Vader hand, Jeff.
Vulcan,
not Vulcan. Vader.
The Vulcan. 2 pink, 2 stink. That was the Vulcan.
The Ultra Shocker.
The surprise, one more friends coming in.
Everybody in the pool.
Oh, everybody in the chocolate pudding pool. All right. Anyways, they announced the signing of Vader. Also, one other signing that could be coming. They just showed off the boots. They didn't show off anything else, but they showed off a teaser with boots that said death on them.
Yeah.
So Megadeth is coming to the Epic Toys.
Megadeth, yes.
Yeah.
Or a band called Death.
Oh, the heavy metal band Death. That's a good point.
Yes. Yep.
So
they're coming to the line.
Yep. Or it could be Dr. Death. I don't know. But
well, I mean, if you're thinking in terms of wrestling, sure. I mean, but hey, if we're gonna get Dr. Death and you're thinking 92, 93 WCW, we're gonna need Terry Gordy as well.
He might be available.
Maybe in that scale, he might be available. So yeah, dude, Nightmare Violence Connection. They were such a bad. I think it was Great American Bash 92 when they beat the Steiners. And I remember watching that. Like, to me, the Steiners were untouchable.
Right.
Like, if you beat the Steiners, dude, you had to have cheated.
Was that when the Steiners were leaving to go to WWE?
Around there.
Okay.
Yeah. And so WCW brought in Gordy and Williams. And man, their tag team matches, they were some badasses.
Yeah.
They were some badasses, man. They threw guys around. They didn't give any F's about anything. They just tore it up. And man, I loved their matches. They were so good. And then against the Steiners, that's like a dream matchup. You know, if you have the chance, go back and watch those Nightmare Violence Connection matches against the Steiners. So good. But if we're going to get a Dr. Death in the lube style, you got to have Gordy to go with him if you're going for that 92, 93 era.
Yep. Pre-orders are up on Asylum or Fig Collections for these figures. If you go on to Fig Collections and you want to get any of these figures, they do have, I think they have free shipping, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
And if you use the code MAJOR, it gets 10% off. So
perfect.
You can get these for a good price over there at Fig Collections. All right. Speaking of the Major Pod, we mentioned him with Kanick, but Matt Hardy's in the big rubber guy.
Yeah, set of 4.
Yeah.
Road Warriors, Ethan Page, who is now a member of the NXT roster.
Yep.
And Matt Hardy.
Yep. By the way, Ethan Page, every time I see him now, he reminds me of that mystery wrestling that I'm hooked on now with Evil Uno.
Because he was on that show.
He was on that show, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, mystery wrestling, dude, is fantastic. I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, they're killing the business. Suck it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, knock it off. You remember $5 wrestling? That shit was great too.
That was fantastic. I love $5 wrestling.
So good.
All right, let's move over to Jazzwares. There is a Switchblade ringside exclusive where he's in all red jacket, and he does come with special packaging. Excellent job on that figure. You can go pre-order that. Also, sticking with Jazzwares at Double or Nothing this past week in Vegas, they showed off a slew of figures. There's new Edges coming, or Adam Copeland, sorry. Adam Copeland's coming, Adam Cole. Everybody under the sun is going to be in those series. Didn't show off anything too revealing or too surprising. Maybe they're waiting for San Diego Comic-Con to show something.
Did they show the Briscoes? Because I haven't seen any of those pictures yet, but did they show the Briscoes?
I didn't see them in there.
Okay.
I just saw a lot of prototypes. Tony Storm prototype. I saw a bunch of prototypes.
Are they making a Tony Khan?
No Tony Khan.
Really? You're kidding?
Yeah, even
like now that he's putting himself on camera, you'd figure he'd want a figure of himself.
No, I heard that the board members of AEW are like, we don't want Tony Khan, we want Nick Khan. That guy's cooler.
You see, that guy took a picture with Norm at WrestleMania. We
and
gotta
Jeff,
make a figure
and
of
Jeff,
him now. And
Jeff.
Oh, and Jeff, yeah.
And Jeff, yeah.
Let's not leave out Jeff.
Yeah, let's not leave out Jeff.
Hey, I'm right here. Hey, guys.
But I do recommend you guys go onto Ringside Collectibles. You can see all the pictures over there of all the figures that are coming out.
Speaking of AEW, Jeff, did you jump in on the vaults today?
I didn't get Danhausen, but I did get the Trios one. I thought it was really
Nailed
cool.
it.
Yeah. So anyways, I got to get the Trios one signed now. I want to get Pac, Phoenix, and Penta to sign.
So where would you do that at? You'd have to go to like a Double or Nothing. Like, do they still do Starcasts?
No, at least not to my knowledge. I haven't seen anything.
Okay, gotcha. So it's one of those you just hope they show up to a signing or something, and like a Lodi Con or a Stockton Con or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, Sting's going to be at Stockton Con, so I have my opportunity to not go see him, embarrass myself further.
Dude, this is your chance to redeem yourself.
I'm not trying to redeem myself, dude. I'm gonna be like,
he's gonna see you coming in, and he's gonna be like, hey guys.
He just paid for an autograph, right? I don't need to talk to him.
I don't have to communicate, right?
Do I have to make eye contact? Please tell me no.
Guys, this is about to get awkward.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, hey Sting, remember the last time we talked? That was cool.
I talked to you about the Blade Runners. That was cool.
Remember when you put that inscription on my autograph? That was so cool.
My name's Scott Toon, and that was cool.
Do you collect wrestling figures?
What's your favorite figure of yourself, Sting?
Okay, now that's a valid question. Come on. That's a valid question.
My name is Scott Toon, and I want to know.
I already told him what my name was.
I know you have
to tell him multiple.
You tell him multiple times. You don't want him to forget.
Yeah. I'm gonna walk away. Someone will be like, "Who was that guy?" Sting's gonna be like, "That was Scott Toon."
Scott Toon. You know how I know? He told me 3 times.
He told me 3 times.
Oh god damn it! I'm hoping they announce more names for Stockton Con.
They always do. It's at least 1 or 2 big names.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be more coming.
I hope they bring Billy West back, because I gotta get the Super 7 Ren and Stimpy signed.
If he's not at Stockton Con, he'll be at the summer one. He'll either be at the winter one or he'll be at Lodi Con next year.
I know. I want to get those Ren and Stimpy ones signed so bad.
Yeah, that would be awesome, dude.
Or to get Futurama figures and have him sign those. That'd be cool too.
That'd be awesome too. Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right, Sky, it's time to talk to one Mr. Kanick. Kanick Kanick coming at you.
Coming at you.
Hey, this is Kanick Kanick on 8612 FM.
On K-A-N-K. Kanick Kanick.
Kanick Kanick. All right. We got to get into our interview with the big rubber man himself, Michael Kanik. Let's get into it. Scott, joining us and continuing with the major pod is Michael Kanik. I thought I'd just encompass them all into one and just go from there, dude.
I love it. You know, as long as people don't call me asshole, I'm fine. You can call me Kanick.
Asshole is where you draw the line.
He's like, that's unacceptable. Not that.
Actually, you know what? That's pretty much fine.
Yeah.
Don't call me Michael. No, I respond to multiple names.
Well, it's funny because we were kind of just talking about this. I heard Myers call you Kanick, and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh shit, I've been calling Kanick wrong name this whole time. And then I asked Scott, and Scott's like, no, dude, it's Kanick. And I'm like, okay, it is for sure. Like, I just got so confused on which one it is.
Yeah. It started with Matt just saying my name wrong, and I corrected him, and he just ignored it, and it just kind of snowballed into this thing where everyone hears him say it and thinks that's the proper way of saying it. And actually, Chelsea runs around and yells at people when they say my name wrong. She's like, no, it's not Kanick, it's Kanick.
I love it.
Is she constantly yelling at Matt about that?
All the time. All the time in front of me. I love it. Chelsea is a Kanick advocate.
I love it. You need to get him a shirt with it phonetically spelled out on the front with a little hoop above the A. Like, it's a soft A.
Well, it's just can and then ick.
Ick. Yeah,
exactly. It's not hard.
And yeah. I'm such a mark for myself. I have a Kanick sticker on my my luggage. And I get stopped at the airport all the time. And they're like, is this you? I'm like, well, it just matched. The name does kind of match the ID. Right?
That's perfect. That's proof.
You know which one's yours. If you guys sell them, you may get your luggage confused with some other guy.
Well, I do. I was selling an exclusive Kanick figure.
Yep.
On my site, and when you ordered it, I threw in a Kanick Major Bendy sticker.
Oh,
so
nice.
I just took one of those stickers. Yeah, I just put the sticker on my luggage, and I get stopped at the airport all the time about it. It's like, it's you.
It's like the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other. So I kind of wanted to take this interview in a different route, and don't worry, everything's okay. We're not going anywhere. I kind of wanted to go back to little Kanick. And back in the day when you were...
I'm still very little.
Okay. I didn't mean it that way. I
thought you were going to start talking about his peen for a second. I'm like, whoa, we don't... I mean, hey, let's not...
I was going to lead up to that, Scott.
Oh, we're getting to that. Gotcha. Okay, I jumped the gun a little bit. Yeah.
Where did the trauma start?
So about 7 or 8 years old, did you start playing with like He-Man? Were you going with G.I. Joes? Were you going with Hasbros? Where was your collection at when you were younger?
I started playing with my brothers LJNs and Hasbros. He was born in 1983 and I was born in 1989. So there's somewhat of a age gap there.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess at 7 or 8 would probably be Jax, right?
Jax would probably, yeah, that would be about right.
The one came out.
Yeah,
96.
Yeah. So that's where I was going with. The Hasbros ended. I was so obsessed with the Hasbros, and then there was nothing, and then it was just Bendums became the thing, and I thought Bendums was the continuation of Hasbros as a kid, because my brother told me, "Oh, there's gonna be a Diesel figure that's coming out. There's a Diesel figure that's coming out," and that was like the big rumor. And would go to this comic shop by our house called Happy Corner, which was great because it had a marijuana leaf with a smiley face on it. And it sold comic books and toys, and it's called Happy Corner. I didn't understand that at that time. As I got older, I was like, oh, okay.
It catered to kids. All right.
Very strange. I think the guy stole like a bunch of people's pre-order money and just shut down the store one day without telling anyone.
No. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, I don't think he's ever going to find out. Uh, but he would also talk about the Diesel Hasbro, and he would like, oh yeah, it's coming, it's coming. So you hear about the Diesel Hasbro, and then being a naive child, you see then the Diesel figure on the shelf, and it's a Bendham, but you just assume it's part of the same collection. You just think that they changed up the style.
Yeah, as a kid, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I thought of it. And then I think my brother might have also thought the same thing. And then he told me, oh yeah, these aren't the Hasbro's. This is a new line, but there's also going to be another line coming out. And he showed me the ad for the Jax figures.
Okay.
And we got the first two figures as kids. I got a Shawn and he got Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
And that was at a toy store by my house that I still go to almost every week. It's called Nueva Linea. The guy that runs it is this like old Chinese man who like has his finger on the pulse on everything, but speaks very little English. But he loves me because he just remembers me as a child going in and always buying wrestling figures. And now I make wrestling figures, and he found out about it, and he's like, "Oh, I remember when you came as a little kid, and you used to buy all the wrestling figures. You have hair, now you don't." And he throws like a little insult jabs at me, but he's fucking great. But yeah,
that's awesome.
I remember that, and then we found the rest at a KB Toys at a mall called Mill Creek Mall that doesn't exist anymore. It was right by the Meadowlands, which is now, I mean, the Meadowlands still exists, but it's the convention center's MetLife.
What other toy lines were you playing with outside of Hasbro's and just wrestling figures? Was there, because it sounds like you're in the Power Ranger era, Spawn era.
Power Ranger tattoo right here of the green
yeah,
Power Ranger action figure.
Yep, it's fully articulated.
Yep. It was ahead of its time with the flip head maneuver. Yeah, so I'm a huge Power Rangers fan, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
So I was playing with Power Rangers. I mean, I'm looking at my wall. I have an autographed WWF Hasbro collection here behind me, but I also have an autographed mint on card Power Ranger collection, all signed by the cast members. The only one I don't have signed is the Yellow Ranger because she died pretty early on, and
yeah, she passed away.
Yeah, I've only seen like 3 signed, and the people either don't want to sell it or are asking for way too much money.
Now, Spawn was also big at that time as well. Star Wars was starting to pick up again, and we were starting
Power of the Force. Yeah.
So Star Wars, I used to get the Power of Force figures, but I didn't have that many as a kid. Spawn, I didn't get into Spawn until much older.
Okay.
I'll probably say when I was like a teenager, but I went back and found those figures and bought those.
The old clamshells?
Yep.
Yep.
With the comic inside and everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Scott was hot and heavy into those.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like trying to hunt down that Malebolgia was insane.
Every Toys R Us, Malebolgia. We got to find Malebolgia.
And trying to find one that was a good sample because it was such a heavy figure. It was almost like a King Kong Bundy LJN.
Yeah.
A lot of them were coming off of the card because the figure was so heavy. So trying to find a good sample was near impossible.
Yeah, Spawn I didn't get into until I was a teenager, when I started collecting the Marvel Legends, because that's when I kind of got back into. I've always been a comic book collector, and reader, but there was like a time frame where I kind of fell out of everything, of like not collecting action figures and just collecting comics. Then I got into like the Marvel Legends stuff because they had the comics inside them.
Yeah, comic with the figure.
Yep. So then I got the Marvel Legends, and then I found some of the Spawn ones, and I wasn't really big into Spawn at the time. And I got some of the comics, and then I think that's what led me into getting the figures. And then the figures had the comics as well, and I would read those. But yeah, I had like a whole. This was like my collecting times as a teenager, where I would like collect coins and stuff just to go to Coinstar and then go to like a toy store to buy a figure. And I would like save up for like 2 or 3 weeks just so I could buy a figure because I had no money. I guess what I collected through since I was like 6 to a teenager. It's
Mhm.
always been basically wrestling, Star Wars, Power Rangers, and Marvel Legends. Yeah.
And no starting
And
lineups, huh?
no, so I know nothing about sports. I only follow real sports, that is professional wrestling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That makes complete sense to me.
um,
Wrestling's real, dude.
I used to do marketing in New York City for an office supply company. So just like Michael Scott, that was my job. I sold paper, and I actually got the company I worked for to become the official office supplier for the New York Jets. And I'd go to these meetings with the New York Jets, and I'd go to these parties with the actual players and the owner of the New York Jets. I'm not sure if he's still the owner, but
Woody something I was going to say. Yeah, I
Woody
forget his
Johnson.
last
Woody
name.
Johnson. Yeah, and like everyone was like talking to me about sports, and I had to stop them. I'm like, look, I don't know what the fuck you guys do, but if you want to talk about Power Rangers, I'm your guy. And like one, and my boss was like a huge New York Jets fan. And one day we go to this party, and I'm by the bar holding court with like all of these players. And we're just talking about Power Rangers and like the latest Marvel movie. At the time, the Power Rangers movie had just came out. And like we're taking shots and everything. And like everyone thought that like I was like one of their guys, like best friends. And I'm getting like all these players' phone numbers. I have no idea who they are. My boss was like, "Yo, can you introduce me to so and so?" I'm like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know these guys' names. I'm just talking to them about Power Rangers, but like they ended up liking me so much because I wasn't like talking to them about their job.
Right.
It was just like treating them like normal humans and like talking about, fun stuff that I like, which is Power Rangers and comic books.
See, Scott, next time you meet Sting, that's the way to approach it. Just saying, dude.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, I guarantee if Jeff was amongst them at the bar, he'd be like, "Dude, you're on my fantasy team and you suck this year. What's going on?"
Okay,
that's what a lot of people were doing, and that's why they liked me so much, because I wasn't saying, "Hey, you suck." I was like, "Hey, what's your theory on, I don't know, whatever the freaking Marvel movie was at the time, like Doctor Strange, or I remember the big thing was Power Rangers because that movie had just came out, and I was like telling them about like how Bryan Cranston was actually a voice actor for the original Power Rangers.
Oh.
And they were like so blown away about that. And I'm like, and that's why he's in the movie.
That's like when you tell people that are like new wrestling fans that Kevin Nash was Shredder and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too and stuff. They're like, what? You know, they get that kind of shocked face and stuff. But I can imagine it's the same way. That's so funny because it's like you go over and you're meeting all these players, wide receivers, people are dying to get autographs from, and you're just talking to them about Marvel and stuff, and they're just like, we are now best friends and taking shots with them and stuff. That's hilarious,
I wish I knew some of their names that I could tell me, because like apparently they were like high-end guys that like people was going crazy for. I remember I had a coworker who was like, "You got to introduce me to this guy," and I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "I don't really know him. We just met."
Show me his face. Like, I might recognize it.
I have pictures of like with them. I gotta send it to you guys. But there was one guy who we just sat around and just like watched magic, because they had like a magician at the party, and we just sat around and we were just quoting the Matrix because the guy was bending the spoon. And
that's
like,
cool.
With his mind.
That's cool.
It's like, this little man, he's fucking great. He's great. And I'm like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, just wait until we start talking about the NWO. You'll be blown away.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them were actually wrestling fans. There was like a few that I spoke to about wrestling, and like the whole Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock feud. And like, just because they're like these monsters on TV, it doesn't mean that like they're not humans, right? And then that's what I've learned also with hanging out with the wrestlers. Like, clearly they like other things outside of wrestling, and they get the runs the same way as everyone else when they eat White Castle. Like they're just humans.
I like that you didn't say Taco Bell.
Allegedly. No, I can say this for a fact.
Now, so actually, I kind of wanted to lead that into. Obviously, you hang out with Myers and Cardona and stuff like that. Have there been any wrestlers that you have bumped into and you're like, oh crap, like you did get that starstruck moment? Because you've known Myers and Cardona for now 6 years.
Yeah, I've known them for some time. I've actually known Chavo for a lot longer than them, which Chavo always laughs at because Chavo lives probably just down the block from my brother.
Oh, okay.
In California.
In Southern California.
Yeah, in Orange County. So I've known him for a long time. I don't know if there's anyone that's like starstruck me. Myers that not introduced me, he like helped me cut the line to meet Sting.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like cool. I was a little starstruck on that because he's like in his whole getup and everything.
I can sympathize. Yeah.
Right. Being backstage at Ric Flair's last match was pretty cool.
And
Ric Flair came to me and said, thank you, and I appreciate you being here, and thank you for everything.
Wow,
and,
that's awesome.
Yeah, but I'm 1,000% sure he has no idea who the fuck I am. I think he was just saying that to everyone.
Hey, it doesn't matter. He said it to you.
Yeah, dude.
He said it because he came next. Kelsey was actually right next to me, and he like said something nice to her, and I looked at her and I said, he has no idea who the fuck I am, right? And she goes, not a clue.
That's great, man.
Yep. But I don't know if I've really been starstruck. Sadly, the guys haven't introduced me to John Cena or The Rock. Yeah, those would probably be the ones that would really get me frozen in time, basically. Like I wouldn't know what to do.
So with the Hasbros that you have behind you,
yeah,
is that your entire collection that we're looking behind you? Because I see Nails, I see Luger.
So let me move it.
Oh, it goes higher. Holy crap!
Holy
crap!
And then there's more on this side.
Oh, green cards! Wow.
Yeah. That's not my. I mean, that's my mock collection that's signed.
But
I have a complete loose collection as well.
Now, obviously, with hanging out with Cardona and Myers, you have come across and seen quite a few prototypes. Have there been any that have completely just blown you away? That the one that just kind of stopped you in your tracks?
And
it could be any prototype that Cardona shared with you, Myers has shared with you. Could be the ECW lines or any from ECW.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been to Matt's house and I've seen like his LJN stuff is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
So, checking out the Sergeant Slaughter LJN before we made the Big Rubber Guy, which Big Rubber Guy is based off that prototype. That kind of blown me away. Matt buying the prototype ring and checking that out, that was pretty cool.
Which ring was that?
So there was a Bendham's ring that was released with Dink.
And he got Dink too. It was part of that, right?
Yeah. So he has that, and we keep on saying that we were gonna do something with that eventually, but so expensive to get done, and I just don't think that there's a market for enough people willing to buy it. Maybe that's something that we play around with Kickstarter.
I take it the tooling on that is kind of expensive.
Yeah.
I could imagine.
Got it.
Moving over to the Big Rubber Guys, you guys have done 2 different Savages, one in orange, one in green, the WrestleCon exclusive. Is there any others that are down the line for the Big Rubber Guys? For poses? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I just did a flat yes.
I just got a nod, and that's all I needed.
Yeah, I mean, we're not done with Macho Man. The licensor that has Macho Man is giving out the licenses to everyone, right? And she even said today to me, I'm a powerhouse, pumping out higher royalties for Macho Man than anyone else right now.
Oh wow.
So
With Myers on last week, he dropped the bombshell that Super 7 had Macho Man under a deal, and they didn't do anything with it.
well, that's the information that Myers can reveal. I'm not getting in trouble by Brian Flair.
Brian announced it last week, or he said something about it last week, and it was like, what? Like,
which is mind blowing. You have a name like Macho Man under your umbrella, and you don't even do one figure in any scale. Even like a reaction style 3 3/4 inch would have been cool, but not even one figure. That blows my mind.
I can't speak for them.
Of course, yeah,
right.
I'm sure there's probably something going on back in the background that we don't know, or they just, they've done wrestling and they don't want to be involved in wrestling anymore. I think I really can't say, because it seems like they've cut back on wrestling, right?
Oh, big time. Yeah.
They had the New Japan. They're still doing Matt and Brian figures, which are great. Actually, I'm still waiting for my series too. I probably should have stolen one from Brian when I was at his house last week. I still haven't held one. I held the prototypes, but I've seen pictures and they all look great. I'm friends with the guys at Super 7, and
yeah,
I know that their mindset is probably somewhere else because they're doing 8,000 things. Well, I'm doing 8,000 things, but it's all wrestling focused. So I can focus on a Macho Man, and that's where I'm good at, right? I'm not playing around with Mickey Mouse and Pinocchio, right? Like Super 7, which hopefully one day I can.
How drunk are you?
I know. This water. But what we're doing with the Macho Man, I think, because I'm a wrestling fan, Myers is a wrestling fan, Cardona's a wrestling fan, and we're all also collectors. We're able to produce some really cool and exciting figures that we know that the community is going to enjoy, and that's why our figures have been doing so well, where we could produce such high royalties back to the Macho Man's family. So, we're extending our agreement, and I'm trying to think of words so I don't get in trouble with Cardona, but we are going to be doing a lot more Macho Man.
There you go. Perfect.
Awesome. In the same scales. So like you just had the meat stick Macho Man, you had your Major Bendham, you've got the big rubber guys. Are you guys and we kind of touched on this last time we had you on, but are you looking at any other scales at all?
Yeah.
And there you go. All right.
We'll leave it at that because we know that Matt is probably sitting back. He's got the pen and paper. He's like, Kanick said this at 33:22.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's no secret we're working on other things. I'm trying to think of the right words where I can't get in trouble.
You guys are looking at different avenues.
We're looking at different avenues where, we're doing stuff that no one else is doing, right? No one was doing the bendies. No one was doing LJN styles. And we're going to keep on going on that route because going into other people's territory there's so much politics, and it's almost like high school now, right? With like all these other companies, everyone's trying to target the other one.
Right.
Where I'm in the back's mind of I don't want to get involved. I don't want to fight with anyone. I want everyone to be friends with me. I just want to be Ray Romano in this toy world.
Can I please don't make Maximum Sweat? Please do not make Maximum Sweat.
That was offered to me.
You've got to be kidding.
By a drunk Matt Cardona, and I told him to get the fuck away from me.
Thank you.
But they were gonna actually bleed, weren't they?
Yeah.
I knew it.
No,
that's attention to detail right there.
Yeah, but I'm really excited for the new line. I'm hoping to have prototypes in hand very soon. And, once we have the prototypes in hand, we work really fast. We've actually had probably one of our few delays from, we've produced over 100 figures, combining bendies and big rubber guys, well over 100. We just got our first delay, not first delay, but one of the rare occurrences of having a delay with the Bulldogs. We were supposed to have them out in hand. I've actually thought I was over projecting on the ship date, but then there was so many issues with the factory, and then Chinese New Year, we had to pay to get the molds redone twice.
Oh, wow.
That's really expensive. But we would rather delay it and pay more to get it done right than produce and ship something that people aren't going to be happy about.
So you can't use Chinese New Year's. That's Jeremy Padowers. Remember back in the Jack's day, he said he always blamed Chinese New Year. You can't. That's gimmick infringement, Kanick.
It was a little bit part of Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year screws you up because it changes every year. The time, and then for me, as much as I try to like prepare for it, it just always fucks you at the end.
Gotcha.
Like it's a wild card. You don't know what's going on really, and then
it's out of your hands.
It's just out of your hands, and then you get the samples back, and it's like all fucked up, and you lost a whole month where you thought you were ahead of the game, and then you have to redo the mold, and then redo the mold a second time. But yeah, the Bulldog shipped, and I'm actually not going to be shipping those Bulldogs out myself. I've realized I am too tiny and fragile to be handling all the orders that we're producing for big rubber guys. And I actually hired. We have a warehouse now. And I have a shipping team that's going to be handling that. So they can be focusing on the packaging, and hopefully, because we have a team now handling everything, people will get their orders a lot faster than just me doing everything myself.
Nice, man.
Congrats, dude. That's awesome. I know that was a big hassle for you. You did a great job at it, but yeah, you guys are making it. So, make it official, get a warehouse and a team. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we have that going on. I'm hoping everything runs smoothly, and I could just start sending everything over there because it's just still in a trial run, and then that also leads us to not have to worry about storage space, because now we have more space, so we could do crazier things, and add more figures to the line, which I think last time I said we were going to try to stick to two to three in a series, and now I contradict myself because we have four
now you got series.
4. And the reason behind that is multiple reasons. One, there was time sensitivity on people's contracts, and we had to push it out fast.
Understood.
And I was able to do the 4 because now I have this new warehouse, because now I'm not trying to figure out how do I jam thousands of figures into my garage.
Yeah.
I can now just have the warehouse accept the pallets, they put it in, and they store everything.
So I need to ask, you hinted and kind of went on an avenue that there's other routes that you guys are looking into as far as different scales and wrestling figures and stuff like that.
Jeff, I believe his words were crazier things, quote unquote.
Crazier things. Yeah. Are we going to know what these that's a line right there. That's a name of a line. Crazier things right there. Are we going to know what these
I might steal that.
You said it. It's yours.
Yeah, it's yours, dude. You said it. But are we going to know by San Diego Comic-Con what these crazier things are?
So we should be having a panel at San Diego Comic-Con.
Nice.
We'll be announcing, the future of major bendies and big rubber guys and the crazier things.
I love it. I love it.
So we're just waiting to get that information back from San Diego Comic-Con, and then we can announce the time for the panel. And hopefully that's the case. If we don't do San Diego Comic-Con, then we either do it at New York Comic-Con, which we're planning on being at, or we'll just do a virtual thing where I'll wear a tuxedo T-shirt and talk.
Wait, that's it.
I don't know.
Just,
I have this one Matt Cardona tuxedo T-shirt that I never wear. Might as well wear it for a fancy event, right?
There you go. There you go.
So was there, you guys got Road Warriors under a deal for
Yep.
these big rubber guys. You guys are kicking around the idea. You guys decided to go with the black shoulder pads. Was there any talk of doing the red and black?
Yes.
Who was voting for that one? Who was pushing for that one?
I think we all kind of just agreed to do the black first.
Yeah.
We have the rights to these guys not for a long time,
Mhm.
but once we sign someone, we start working on the figure.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't say for most cases. For Animal and Hawk, we sign them and then we start working on it. So we have time, and we'll probably end up doing the red eventually.
Mhm.
But it's not going to be a repaint. It's going to be a whole different mold.
Okay.
Oh,
if we
nice.
do it.
Okay.
Or the gold spikes.
My wallet
Yeah.
started crying, by the way, when you said that.
So I've said it before, and things have changed, but we're trying to limit the amount of repaints that are in this line,
Mhm.
because I feel like the repaints cause what I call collector's fatigue, where it's like, there's so many. Which one do I get? Do I get them all?
Yeah.
Do I get this one? Fuck it. I'm not getting them any. And I think that's what's happening.
Mhm.
I've seen it with the bendies, and I see it with other toy lines. So just trying to keep it to a limited amount. Now with that said, there's two versions of the Demolition. One was a chase, one was a regular version. Those are technically repaints. We had the Macho Man, which is technically a repaint, and then we got Hacksaw with the chase
Mhm.
variant.
Man, that looks
Those
good.
are
That's so good.
That's excellent.
This is actually a rubber version. But so we're doing the repaints, but I think those kind of make sense, right? Where it's accepted to have those repaints. And we'll have repaints down the line. I'm not saying obviously we're never not going to do it because we're already doing it. It's just keeping it down to a low amount. Not everyone needs a repaint, right?
Mhm.
You don't need to do it that way. We sell enough of these things that justifies the cost of the molds. So why not just create a new mold and make a whole unique figure of the same guy?
Mhm.
And that way you can have different poses, because what I've noticed is a lot of people saying, why don't you do a pose like this? Why don't you do a pose like that? The guy's pose should be like this. Well, we'll take care of that. We know what these poses should be, right? We're all collectors and all fans of the product. It's just give us time, right? We can't shoot our load all at once.
Got it. So what kind of market research is there being done? Are you talking to collectors, talking to fans, or is it really just you, Myers and Cardona, putting your three heads together? Because like you just said, you've collected for so long. We're all collectors. They're are you guys just making the decisions for yourselves, or are you actually taking opinion into account?
Yeah, we take opinions. I mean, on the message boards, Matt's very vocal there. And I'm on it every day, right? I start my morning with a 20-ounce Ghost energy drink, a large black coffee, and I log in and I say, what are people saying about me on the internet? And
it's just a form of vanity searking. It's okay. It's not totally vanity searching.
Just a little. But then I go on the message boards and I see what people are saying about big rubber guys. I go on the LJN Facebook groups. I see what people are saying about big rubber guys. I see what people are suggesting, right? And I take that information, and then I'll meet with Matt and Brian and TTD and Brian Beatty about it. And they're all doing the same stuff. They're doing their own research. They're going into the groups themselves and they're seeing it. I do a post on my Instagram saying, this is what we have. What's the next figures that you think that we should make?
Mhm.
And I read all those comments and I take that into consideration. I'm not just doing
Awesome.
it to just boast a little bit for boasting. I have an ego issue. I am friends with Ethan Page.
Hey, timing is everything, dude. Timing is everything.
How appropriate.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk that?
Who knew?
Who would have known that he was going there? No, so like we do a lot of research, but then you know, there are cases where it's like, I don't care. This is what I think is best for the business. And
I would do
you
the
know,
same thing. I love that.
sometimes you're right and sometimes you're wrong, right? So one of the people that I look up to is Steve Jobs. He was a complete asshole. I can relate to him. But he was also very smart. So that's what you should really focus on. But he always had a line. It was, the customer doesn't know what they want until you show it to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you got to do that, right? And just
trust your gut.
Trust your gut. Do what you want. And I think we've done that in some cases with big rubber guys and major bendies. You know, people wanted the homage looking packaging, right? On big rubber guys. And you know, we incorporated some of the homage LJN style, but for me it needs to be its own thing, right? This isn't LJN. This is major bendy's big rubber guys.
Right.
And
it's a love letter, but up to date.
Yeah. I want people to look at it and go, that's a big rubber guy. And that's an LJN. They're completely two different companies. And I think people were very loud and vocal about it in the beginning. But no one's complaining now.
Yeah.
The big thing is everyone's asking when's Bad News Brown's coming. Once again, eventually.
It is happening, yes. But you guys are doing really well with this line. I mean, you're hitting a lot of the LJN collectors nostalgia, and also people are seeing this on the back end. And when I mean by the back end, I'm talking about the eBay route or Mercari route. The prices of figures over there, your guys' figures specifically, are through the roof. So you guys are doing something right, because there's a lot of people that are like getting the FOMO. They're
now
like,
the FOMO starts. Exactly.
Crap, we missed out on Demolition. We saw the prices of Demolition. I mean, that you can't miss that price, that what they were going for. And now you guys are going to have that. You guys are going to be having that feeling again when Hawk and Animal come out. And I don't want to leave out Ethan Page or Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is excellent. You guys did a great job sculpting him.
And Ethan Page, your timing is perfect.
But for us old heads, Scott, meaning Scott and I, sorry, Scott, you're old. But,
mostly me. Yeah.
Yeah. But with the Road Warriors, you're going to get us hardcore collectors that are just like,
well, it happened with the Asylum Superstars, right? The Remco style ones. The secondary market on those are insane. Even Asylum marked them up from like $45 to $90 on their site as stock got low. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be big time, like when the Road Warriors fans find out about these things, because sometimes it's slow to reach everybody that doesn't have their finger on the pulse of pre-orders. Right. There's going to be big time FOMO if they do miss out. Secondary market's going to go crazy. Road Warriors figures, dude, you've got a gold mine here. I'm telling you, there has been super big demand, and you know this, for Road Warriors forever. And as many scales as you can make them in, dude, you're printing your own money at this point.
Yeah. You know, Road Warriors is one that I was very excited to get.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, I was freaking Animal for Halloween when I was a kid. I had the red shoulder pads and everything from the Shop Zone.
That's
magazine.
So great. I'd love to see a picture if you've got one or can dig one up.
My mom is terrible, and I think she lost all my photos when I was a kid. Like, I have a picture of me when I met The Rock when he was Rocky Maivia. Like, no one liked him. I went to a McDonald's signing. I think I was like the only person online to meet him. And
wow, man,
wow,
you're like, you don't suck, Rocky.
Yeah, I loved him. I still do. He's like another guy that I look up to. But yeah, so Road Warriors, back to that. It's exciting to be working on this. You know, I posted a picture of me as a kid meeting both Animal and Hawk Actually at the same McDonald's where I met Rocky Maivia. And it's so surreal because it's like, if you told me in 1995 or 96 when I met them, you're going to be making figures of these guys,
Yeah.
I wouldn't believe it. And I would
That's
also
insane.
then I would also ask, do we ever grow? And I'm going to have to break my little heart and say no. But we get to make Animal and Hawk. Silver lining, little guy. But it's really cool. It's really exciting. And, I think, it's our passion, right? And I wake up every morning now excited to do what I'm doing, right? And I love it so much. I work crazy hours. I probably work harder now doing this than I did with a 9-to-5 job, but I'm having fun. And this is what I enjoy doing. So I'll continue doing this as long as possible. And it's not really about the money. It's just having fun and doing what I love. And, obviously having fun and doing what I love equals to making money because I'm doing it the right way.
Absolutely.
For example, I don't mind spending the extra thousands of dollars. I don't want to think about it because it gives me anxiety of how much I lost redoing the Bulldogs twice and delaying it and then upsetting some of the customers. But I feel like if I'm going to produce it, it has to be produced right. And if I send out a shitty product, I'm going to probably lose more customers that way than telling them, hey, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait another month or two.
Well, that's the I need now mentality. They don't think of the bigger picture. They're just thinking of now. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in our society that are like that. It's narrow-mindedness, but you hit it right on the head. I'd rather make someone wait a month or two to get close to perfect or perfect than lose customers on the back end.
Yeah, you're going to get out of it what you put into it, right? So if you put into it doing it the right way, you're going to succeed. And that's what you guys have pretty much done every step of the way.
Yeah, thank you for that. But Kyle Peterson, who I love, he has a comparison with customers and bread. You lose a customer a slice at a time. No, you gain a customer a slice at a time. You lose a customer a loaf at a time. That's what it is.
Very true.
That's what it is. So if I would have issued the Bulldogs with the wrong height, or there was an issue with the heads being squished, if I issued any of that to the paying customers who spend a good amount of money on these things, right? They're not cheap. No independent company is producing anything cheap because of the low runs.
Yep.
So if I'm taking your hard-earned money and then I'm giving you garbage, then there's a problem there, and then you're not going to come back and buy Animal and Hawk. Yeah. So I think having that good reputation with our customers helps with our growth, where we got to do the hits right in the beginning, the Macho Man, the Hacksaws, the Andre the Giants, and then when we build that reputation of being reliable and we have the growth with the sales, then we can do the chances of those very vague guys that a lot of the old school LJN collectors want. But to be honest, they're not going to sell as well as, let's say, a Hacksaw or a Macho Man. And then it also takes me to the point of why we brought Matt Hardy and Ethan Page in. I can do a Bad News Brown, right? But is that going to really be targeting to just a certain age group, or is it going to target the whole age groups that are collectors? It's really going to just be that one niche age group, right?
True.
Now, if I do the Ethan Page and the Matt Hardy, I'm widening my net on who's collecting, right? So I'm bringing in new collectors, which then helps us because now, okay, the quantities are getting higher that we're ordering from the factory. Our costs can go down. Now I can then save those cost savings to the customers, where you're not spending the $50 anymore on a figure. You can now spend less, and then we can also then focus on those guys like the Bad News Brown and stuff that old school Eldron collectors want. Or send me massive emails every day requesting.
What about the Bushwhackers?
Yeah, well, they have a Legends contract. Trust me, I looked into it.
So you guys have done Demolition's masks.
Yep.
You guys have done Hacksaw's 2x4s.
Yep.
2x4, I should say. Sorry. You guys are doing the removable shoulder pads with LOD or the Road Warriors.
Yep.
Any chance of title belts?
Yes, I want to do it in the future. It's just making sure that we get the rights to the correct ones, because those are actually owned by properties and by people, and you got to pay those royalties out to people.
I'm glad we have you on, because maybe you can kind of explain it. So I've always been kind of confused by the title belt situation.
I'm confused too. Trust me.
Okay, all right, cool. We're all on the same page.
I don't know.
It's like, are there exclusives? Are there not exclusives? It's confusing.
Yeah, someone owns the rights to these titles. It's just, I don't know. It's who owns the rights, and there's multiple people claiming they own the rights, which then gets a little fuzzy, because it's, how can multiple people own the rights to the same
right
belt?
Okay, so that's where I've always gotten confused, because I've always heard that WWE couldn't do NWA title belts, which, okay, I get that because it was NWA, but then I heard that the belt maker of the NWA titles also had rights to it. And I'm like, wait a second, who, what? Like, I hear there's so many hands in the pot regarding the belts that it's almost easier just not to touch them than it is to just make them, whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm very confused on the whole subject myself.
Okay.
Matt tried to give me an explanation one day, and one eye went this way, the other eye went the other way. And it wasn't Matt's eyes. It's actually mine.
You were probably like, Michael Scott, just explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. You figure this one out. I'll go talk to China.
Michael, we do want to thank you for being on. You answered all of our questions. And
hold on. I got one more.
Oh,
I mean, you knew I wasn't going to let this one escape without hitting on the Road Warriors at least a little bit more.
All right, go for it.
Yeah.
So I told you on text message, Kanick, you are punishing my wallet. I mean, punishing my wallet. I've tried so hard, and I was equating it to Jeff last week. I'm like Braveheart, holding my guys back, like, here comes Demolition, big rubber guys. I'm like, no, don't do it. Then you hit me with Powers of Pain, and I'm like, oh, come on. They're doing that. And then all of a sudden, here come the Road Warriors, and I'm like, okay, go. Like, now the floodgates have opened for me. You've got the Road Warriors. Why didn't you do, because you did a variant for Demolition. Was there any talk in doing one for the Road Warriors?
There was. It's just, it goes back to what I was saying about the fatigue. I feel like we've done too many when we've already said that we weren't going to do too many.
Okay.
And
that was the reason.
Yeah, I was just trying to cut it back. And look, we have the rights for a long time, so we'll end up doing multiple Road Warriors in the future. It's just, they're all going to be different looks and different molds.
Got it. Any thoughts on doing 2-packs?
Yeah, so we're actually gonna do a 5-pack of Bendies in December, and that got canceled because those were all gonna be repaints, and we would rather just do new molds and focus on new molds and stuff like that.
Okay.
But for big rubber guys, I've thought about doing the 2-packs. It's really my OCD now that's preventing us.
Because everything's been single so far.
Everything's been single so far.
Yeah. I get it. It aligns itself nicely on the wall when you've got them all displayed or on a shelf. It's been consistent. Yeah, I get it. And
actually, do I have one here? I don't know if I showed you guys this last time I was on. But we changed the bubbles, so there's a thing on the bottom now, so it stands on its own.
Oh, yes.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So these will display very nicely if you want to put it on a shelf or hang it on a wall. And Ric Flair, the man who loves me so much and has no idea who the fuck I am.
But hey, he signed that figure.
Yeah, so if you see these sign really nice.
Yeah, they do.
Pen.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, Yeah. So
I got my demolition signed at WrestleCon, so I know.
I love the surface area for the signature. I mean, they can just go as big as they want on there. I love that.
I don't know if you heard us tell this story. I don't know if we were telling it at the meetup or whatnot, but Warlord had picked up my Epic Toys 2-pack, the Warlord and Barbarian 2-pack. And he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, can I go show the Boogeyman this?" And I'm like, "Sure, go for it, dude. You know, you're bigger than me. Go for it." So anyways, he walks over to the Boogeyman and he walks up and he's talking to him for about a good 5-10 minutes, somewhere in there. And so I'm kind of standing there waiting for him to bring the figures back. Anyways, he came back and I was like, is Boogeyman getting a figure? He goes, "No, I'm trying to get Boogeyman to sign with these third-party companies because it feels like with these third-party companies, they want to take care of you. So with each one that's sold, we're getting $5 a figure." That's what Warlord said. And he said,
yeah.
And he kept saying Vince, but I think he meant to say WWE. He goes, "But when you sign with Vince, you only get pennies on the dollar."
Yeah.
He goes, "So anyways, you're also creating a lot more avenues for these wrestlers to get paid as well. And on top of that, people are bringing these to their tables to get signed."
Yeah.
So that's awesome as well.
Yeah, I'm going to try to word this properly, but you know, we are giving probably the most royalties out from an independent company to these wrestlers. I know, you know, we gave a second large check to Hacksaw at Squared Circle Expo.
Mm-hmm.
And Deborah, his wife, who he travels all over with.
Yep.
And takes care of everything for him. She saw the check and her eyes opened and she just gave me a big hug and kiss. And she said, "Whatever you need, you let me know." And I go, "This is just the second check. We're going to give you a third check soon."
Nice.
And she's like, she couldn't believe it. And she literally ran around the convention floor telling everyone not to sign with any other company but us.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome, dude.
She was like, I told her I'm going to hire her to be head of marketing for Major Bendy's. She legit went to every person that she felt needed a figure. And those are people that we actually try to have conversations with. And she told them, he's legit, do business with him. He's an honest guy.
That's awesome.
And that meant the world to me because I'm such a huge Hacksaw fan. But then there's other guys who, yes, they're on TV. Yes, they wrestled, but they don't have income coming in now. And a lot of that money that they made is probably dried up already. So they need some sort of income. And I've had wrestlers who I've given checks to, and they've hugged me and kissed me on the cheek saying, you know, "Thank you so much. I really need this. You have no idea how much I needed this." And, you know, that is so more fulfilling than anything else, right? Like, it's when you get that interaction with someone and you go back to your convention table, it's like so surreal because the talent is happy. Now you're selling figures to customers and you see them walk away happy, and then they go back to the talent to get it signed. And it's like a whole nice little hub of happiness that we've created.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I've said this multiple times. This is the most fulfilling job I've ever had. And I've worked in cancer hospitals,
man,
nonprofits and stuff. It's just, this is definitely the most fulfilling I've ever done. And I'm having a blast. And it's really because of, you know, collectors like your listeners. You guys have been very supportive with me since day one. So I thank you always. So
well, we always will be, man. No wonder you wake up every morning loving your life, dude. Holy crap. That's incredible. That is incredible, man. I am so happy for you. I'm always happy when good things happen to good people, Kanick. And I may have said it before, but dude, thank you for being at the meetup. Thank you for doing things the right way, man. You know, you're real easy to root for. Honestly, you're one of the good guys for sure. You're real easy to root for.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're so happy for your success, man. Honestly.
He doesn't have Sting makeup on. Hold on, dude.
That's why I stopped.
I'm joking. I know
Dan has a mask. Actually,
see, now he's got
a mask on the other side. I'm going to take that audio clip of what you just said and I'm going to send it to my mom because I'm pretty sure she thinks otherwise.
Have Hacksaw's wife call her, dude. You'll be set.
I'm like, Debo, do you mind calling my mom? Because I think she thinks I'm a piece of shit.
Man, she doesn't even have any pictures of me from Halloween's past. Holy crap.
Yeah, right.
This is a true story. I went to my mom's job. She works in a school. She has an office. I go, and she has pictures of a whole family all over the office. Not one fucking picture of me.
Oh my God.
I don't mean to laugh, dude. I really don't mean to laugh, man.
Oh, dude, that's awful.
So I went back and I put my Major Bendy down and I go, I'm the only fucking son that you have with his own action figure. Fucking display it.
Oh, dude.
I don't mean to laugh, dude. But you know what? You played your trump card. Well done.
I like it.
I know when to brag, when to brag.
That was not a humble brag. That was a
flex. I like it.
A flex.
That's it.
Fuck Chris. Fuck Jay. I have my own action figure. Even if I had to make it myself. It's sold out.
It's done. Yeah. Hey.
Kanick, again, thank you for being on, man. You know we always appreciate you. Do want to get the plug in. By the time the show drops, June 1st, the pre-orders for Matt Hardy, now NXT All Ego Ethan Page. Nice timing there. Right. I like it, guys. And the Road Warriors NWA look Road Warriors on top of that. So everybody get your pre-orders in. It's 1 calendar month from June 1st to June 30th. Get your pre-orders in for the Big Rubber Guys Series 6? No, sorry, Series
8, maybe. 8? I think. I don't know.
I lost track of the series.
I lost track too.
All right, well, cool. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
But yeah, it's series. Let's call it 8. The pre-order is the order. So if you don't put the pre-order in, how it works is we take the pre-orders. I take that number. I maybe add like an extra 20 or 50 to each person, just in case there's any issues. And that's what I get made in the factory. So if there's 1,000 ordered, I make 1,050 or 1,025, whatever number I decide. And then that's it. So I don't put more up for sale. So if there's any extras, that's what I bring to conventions to help spread the good word of Big Rubber Guys. I feel like a little religious prophet or whatever going. But
spread the good word.
Most of the time I'm hungover at the table with Hornswoggle. But yeah, so don't email me asking after the pre-order period, I missed out on the pre-order. Are you going to put more on the site? The answer is going to be no. And we don't restock at any other time. And that's what makes these things collectible, because they're supposed to be collectibles, right?
Right.
And if you keep on reissuing them, it's not really collectible anymore. It's just a mass market item.
Exactly.
Good point.
But yeah, so majorbendys.com, and there's multiple ways of ordering. We take Apple Pay, take Google, PayPal. I think we take all forms of payments. And then there's also the pay for 4 option where you can split the payments.
Klarna thing.
Klarna.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And on
top of that, if you just want, I don't know, Animal and Matt Hardy, free shipping.
Yeah, it's all free shipping also. So if you just want Road Warriors and Matt Hardy, you can do that. There will be a combo option for all 4. There will be a combo option for just the Road Warriors, and then you can just get everything individually. We probably won't be splitting the Road Warriors. We're going to just keep them as a 2-pack thing, but they'll be shipped, they're individually packed. Do it that way because I learned my lesson from Demolition, and it's a headache when it's a tag team like that, where it's like, it's such an odd number. No one really orders just the individual. It was just so few, and it caused a lot of headaches, manufacturing and shipping.
Understood.
I blame LJN for that. I blame LJN for that. Had they released both as a tag team, Powers of Pain and Demolition back in the day, you wouldn't have had that headache current day.
Well, it's funny because it's not really their fault. It was just so many people still ordered both Axe and Smash. There was very few that did individual, but it was such an odd amount that it kind of screwed with the shipping method of getting it from China to us, because they wanted the factory kind of just wanted everything to be equal, the same.
Okay, gotcha.
Because of the masks and stuff, and it was just a nightmare, and I just didn't want to deal with it again. So I just put everything the same. So if everything's the same, I just say, okay, 1,000 animals, 1,000 hawks, and they go, okay, and they make it.
Perfect.
They take my money. They take my money and they go.
Nice.
Send us that final payment and we will get these figures over to you.
Yeah, but honestly, go look at secondary market prices if you guys are on the fence of these at all. I mean, look at secondary market prices. FOMO's going to kick in if you miss out. Don't hit up Kanick for more. It's not happening unless it's a completely different mold, a completely different look, and the pre-order's the order. So jump on June 1st. I know I'm going to.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
And I also just started doing Whatnot. So I do have a little extras of people that are actually coming from my personal collection. I'm putting them up on Whatnot. Let me tell you, though, the prices that I've been getting are a little insane, but because I'm not Matt Cardona or Brian Myers, my view count is very low on Whatnot. So the bids aren't as high compared to theirs. So you got a deal.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, are any big rubber guys, have they gone up on your Whatnot stream?
Yeah, so I sold a Vic Flair last week, actually Monday, for $100 and something.
Ooh.
And then the week before that, I sold a signed Marty Jannetty for $80. So it's like,
wow,
you can get a deal.
Yeah,
there's
seriously.
deals to be had. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
We're just sitting back in the bushes like this, tapping our fingers ready for this. Michael, it's always a pleasure having you on. And again, Scott actually said it, but I do want to reiterate it. Thank you for being at the meetup. That really meant a lot to us, man.
It did.
It was a blast.
Absolutely.
I had so much fun. Though I had to go back to my hotel room and sleep a little because I drank way too much.
Oh, there were some people feeling good at that meetup, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
There was
all right, well, now
fun.
we have to ask. I mean, WrestleMania, since our last conversation, has now been announced for Las Vegas.
Oh boy.
Are you there?
I'll be there with a Mike Tyson tattoo on my face and ready to go.
Where's the lion?
A tiger on a leash?
We need a tiger.
Hell yeah. It's going to be a party, dude. I can't wait to see you.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
And you have to be at our meetup if we do.
Oh,
of course, we're going to do another.
It's an open invitation. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course. I'll be there.
Absolutely. We can't wait to see you again, man. Hopefully it'll be sooner before Vegas, but if it's Vegas, then we look forward to seeing you. But we also look forward to having you back on anytime,
Open door policy.
As we always
appreciate
tell
it.
You have an open door policy. So Michael, thank you so much for being on. Thank you for being at the meetup. We love you, man. Congrats on the success.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fullyposeable. Let's go. Jeff and Scott, the Toon Brothers, busting out the ring, but we don't take it out the box. MOC. Happy toy hunting. We'll see you next week with the OGs of WFP. Fullyposeable, thank you all for listening. It ain't no storyline, real life siblings. So everybody go and do your toy spotting. #FigLife, adios from the Kings.